Fire, what you saying?
Yes, I give thanks to life all the while, you know?
Serious thing. We are here again, Bald Headed in the Grid podcast. Give thanks for everyone tuned in. Have to remind the people, make sure you check out brand new short film, the story of Jamaica's most famous shirt, the Mesh Marina. Also, in the description, Autarchii, aka the Grid, latest CP, Disrupting the Status Quo. Make sure you take it in. Far Eye, what we're reasoning about today?
Well, the reason of today is a reason I feel like enough people resonate with the same way. We talk about learning how to be happy for other people. I realize a lot of time people say some people say success are going on the side there. Them things say them supposed to be alienated from the success or somebody go against them from them become successful. So we really show people say it not have to be that, you know. Ones can just know say, yo, people successful over there, sir. Are you happy for them and them think that overall we can contribute towards your success later on. So the reason I got spawn from that today, you know?
No, serious thing. And as a what do you want to call it? As a recovering grudgeful person, right? I gotta put myself all right, as a recovering grudgeful person. I was probably grudgeful as the next person, right? But nonetheless, I did have jealousy for others, and I'll share that. I can tell you one, I definitely want to touch on the liberating aspect of being happy for others, right? But before we do, with this jealousy thing, right, you have two arguments from science. I'm not talking about no barbershop argument. I'm talking about based on scientists, supposedly what they say, right? Let's work with what the studies have said. People always talk about studies. You have one side that says this graceful thing, jealousy thing is like a evolutionary thing, right? It's not a learned trait, it's a part of nature, right? They kind of make sense to a certain aspect, but then you have the other side that says it's more of a vibe it's taught. It's a learned behavior. Now, I would argue for the latter. I want to hear what you have to say for it, right? But I would argue for the latter in regards to a learned behavior because I think capitalism breeds jealousy. So we may have a higher rate of jealousy within our society. Not to say other societies never had jealousy. Biblical stories, obviously, or you have jealousy in there. But the reason I say it's a learned behavior, an environment that I grew up around, right, was a very toxic and jealous environment. People were not happy for the success of others, and I observed this all the time. Even if they were to tell that person to their face, like, good job, once that person left, right, they were, excuse my language, I'm not sure if I curse on the podcast, I won't curse, but they were talking bad about the person. So me constantly seeing that now, in my mind now, I didn't have the skill of being happy for other people. I genuinely didn't have that skill within me in the sense that my mind couldn't comprehend being happy for someone else having success while I wasn't having that same success. And there are two aspects to it. One, as you mentioned earlier in the intro, I felt left out, right? I didn't feel a part of the game. I didn't feel a part of what was taking place. But I think the most detrimental part of the key ingredient to it was comparison, right? This constant comparison compared to others. And I think for me personally, some people can relate, some people can't relate. But I believe that was the source of the jealousy that I experienced comparing myself to others. Respect to my mother, because she always used to tell me what I was supposed to get in life. I will get in life what became true. But before I get into how I remedied and transitioned from being a jealous person to a person who was happy, I did have to emphasize that, yes, I was jealous, specifically with sports, right? That was the source of the jealousy for me. It wasn't like random people. Like I really struggled, especially if I felt I was better than a person or I felt that a person should be getting as much playing time or attention. That was like the source of my jealousy. So a lot of my jealousy was within sports. It did trickle into other areas of my life, but the main source was sports. And I actually learned how to become happy for other success through the same medium of sports. So the jealousy was rampant in sports, and that's how I came about it. Far right, just before we continue, do you think jealousy is something that's natural, or do you think that it's a vibe that's a learned behavior?
I feel like say is a mixture of both. but it's more of a learned behavior. I'm gonna tell you why I say a mixture of both. Cause originally, me personally, anytime me see jealousy out in the open, me attribute it to learned behavior. But then after observation a couple of years, me start realizing, oh, so there's a couple natural things in this, so I notice. All right, so in regards to learned behavior now, we grew up on the aspect of competition. There I talk about sports, but if we take sports out there, because I normally tell people say sports are the only place where you must compete. But in the arena of society, as I say, we live in a capitalistic society. Every single thing is based off a competition. Them tell about the free market. Them tell about supply, demand, all of these things. So it's based the jobs. If you realize that the job market, it's all about competition. One job open up, 20 people start apply for it, 100 people apply for one, and it's just one position. So it's all competition in our head. So it's like we train for things like, yo, we must compete against each other at all given time. And the only time we stop competing is when we did. So that are the concept where them really give we, and they will buy into the concept they know and not realizing that it affect our life because everybody is unique in their own way. And where everybody can, where you can do, and next man can do. So is that when most of we really overstand the levels there, and because we're so programmed to compete against each other and feel like, say, yo, if this a person my enemy, and me have to be the main successful person. And then in the other part about capitalism, we kind of trick our brain now and make us start compete against each other too. Is the fact say there's only a few successful people and there's so much people in the population. So everybody thinks that even if them not put in the work to be that successful person, in their mind, in their brain, them a tell themselves, say, yo, me have got to be the successful person there. So it's all about me. That individualism, it starts shoot up the ranking now, and that spiral the way for the competition where we are sit today. So that's from the levels them I feel like say it's not a thing where natural or something we kind of force upon the people them, and the people them go with it because they don't know it going on the shepherd and the sheep. See, so the sheep them just kind of continue the whole levels, and the shepherd just say, all right, this is the amount. We have 1 acre of land, and 1 acre of land, yes, so the sheep them have to move around. So the sheep them don't understand say the world out there, and it's not just the acre of land, and that's spiral competition. But the natural partner when we get to start observing dimension about Bible and all of these things. I even talk about historical events before that. I realize it in all different levels of history, regardless of the society, regardless of how the rulership said. I realize that there's always this one or two person in the storyline who always see others' success and then try to go against it. So I realize I read this thing from Dawning of Creation. I'm wonder that make me wonder, is there something natural in this? And then I look on the levels now of how people behave. Even two people were raised the same way, get the same type of training, have the same type of qualification. They have something different about them. One is particularly great and one is particularly good. So I say if life just naturally creates some people who are gonna be the worker, some people who are gonna be the boss because them are the person who exceptional and great. Then if you have an exceptional individual and you have an individual who normal, me now feel say in a natural way, the normal individual I go feel like say, because there's a limited pool of resources where always I got debate the person who great, them have to go kinda look upon them in a way and have something against them, kinda in a mannerism, even if them not acknowledge it to a certain extent, So that from the levels them I think it have something to do with some form of nature. But generally speaking, I feel like say when it comes to grudgefulness and jealousy, it's a trained thing.
No, serious thing. And the thing is, I guess naturally, whenever you have a person with more than another, that naturally will bring in a form of envy, a form of jealousy, right? But I guess in order for it to like, you see, we have such an unhealthy society. That's the start. We have such an unhealthy society, and like things are so, the schism is so big between what people have and what people don't have, right? And it's just a breeding ground for jealousy. So I think in order for you not to be jealous within this society and within this space, you really have to work on yourself because the jealousy thing is not a healthy thing, right? And I can just speak about my personal experience. Like, as I said, the heights of my jealousy came through sports, right? Yeah, you may see somebody on the road. I wasn't really on that vibe. It was the sports for me. That was like my little jealousy hub. I learned not to be jealous through the same thing with sports. And what I learned is that one, no one taught me directly. I kind of came to this conclusion on my own, right? There was a player who was better than me. So let me acknowledge that. The first thing I had to do was stop lying to myself, right? There was a player that was better than me. What I learned to do is, because I remember in the background, my mother kept telling me, what you're supposed to have, you're going to have. I realized that this person wasn't taken away from my experience or what I was supposed to get in life. I kind of clicked to that naturally. Like, well, what I did more than anything, I start to observe the person not from a grudgeful standpoint, which is a waste of time. I started to observe what that person did to make them so good. And I think that's where things shifted for me in a sense. Now, what happened now is as I started to, because remember, I always talk about pirating, as I started to kind of figure out how to adopt those techniques or characteristics or whatever that made that person good, naturally, I don't know, it was weird, Fight. It's just like, even though I was a teenager, I started to feel more happy. I guess the person became like an indirect mentor in a sense without being my mentor. And I started to feel happy for that person's success. What another conclusion I came to is that I noticed I was happy. I noticed me personally, I was happier when I was happy for the success of others. Not to say I didn't struggle with the jealousy moving forward, but that was the start of my journey of becoming happy for others, right? Also, it really clicked that another person's success does not take away from what I'm have the ability to succeed. I think that because sometimes I don't know if it's fear, I don't know if it's lack of confidence, maybe it's lack of confidence too. People don't feel there's enough space for successful people, right? Even if you're at a job, right? You're at a job or you're in a certain small group. And yes, there may be limitations in regards to growth to that, but it's a humongous world out there with a humongous um, probabilities of opportunities. And I think that because the mindset is so small, that leads to jealousy. It's almost like a desperation in a sense, like this person's almost taking away your future. Cause that jealousy thing get real rotten, fire, and real dark. And the thing with jealousy is that like fire wastes a lot of time now. You know, me being an adult now as a man that kind of on the one away, and sometimes you hear some low sounds and you dip off, but sit around and talk about what someone else is doing the whole time, not analyzing it now. It's not like I'm analyzing what this person is doing so I can improve myself. I'm talking about just like criticizing the person for whatever, or having this negative feelings towards that person is just unhealthy, along with being a waste of time. And it's a double negative because I'm not progressing, right? And my energy is off fire because I can't really wish the best for me and don't wish the best for the next man or the next woman. That it kind of not right. And in my personal experience, like when I'm genuinely happy for another, not only do I feel better, but I just feel like I don't know the universe blessed. I don't know what to say. You know, it's just kind of like it's kind of like a better vibe. You know, one thing I want to touch on fire before you jump back on is that you mentioned earlier in regards to everyone chasing success, right? And one of the keys to this thing of becoming transitioning uh, from being a recovering jealousy person to a person that's happy is that you have to redefine success. I think people are just so stuck in this box of this idea of success that have been given as a system, which is unhealthy, unsustainable, all right? That you're killing yourself to get this thing that a next man has created or a system has created. You have to redefine success for yourself on the heights. We're not asking you because some people play the game and redefine success with mediocrity. We're not advocating that now. We're not advocating mediocrity as settling for life. We're not saying that. But you can hold yourself up to a standard with redefining success. I'm going to give you an example, right? The other night, and this is real talk. I was chilling with my wife and my daughter. We were watching a show called Dines and Divers. I don't know. It's a show on Food Network. This person go to restaurants and they go to restaurants. And I was just sitting there, fire, right? And I said, yo, I'm such a success because one, I'm chilling with my wife and my daughter, right? My wife and my daughter want to be. Now, some people think this for sure. My wife and daughter want to be around me. You know what I'm saying? And we just hear building. So I was like, man, to me, that's like, I don't know. It's like one of my greatest accomplishments because the environment I came from, like people don't really want to be around certain people, like family members. You know, they don't want to be around the same roof. Better yet, husband and wife don't want to be around each other. They're constantly bickering, or children don't want to be around their parents. So I just felt that, like, for me personally, right, that's like a great accomplishment. For the next person, I don't know if they understand the magnitude of what I'm saying, but for me, man, that's like such a great accomplishment to be here, you know, to be able to have my family in a stable environment, a nice place, you know, and just a vibe. Like, I just thought that's me redefining success. The next person may say that's foolishness, you know, and tie success to economics and all that, or even that, like, you know, I have a certain level of discipline with certain things I do. Like, I'm extremely successful in that sense because I don't have control over the outcome, fire right, at the end of the day, right? I have control over the input. I don't have no control over the output. And I think as people understand and redefine success more, you'll be healthier. And also, you won't be so grudgeful, fire right? Because that jealousy thing out here is rampant and wicked, and everyone's analyzing what everyone's doing. They themselves, while they're doing it, aren't doing it. Because remember, if I'm grudging far right? Far right working, far right not paying me no mind. Far right is putting in work, and I'm sitting here grudging this man. So that don't make no sense because I'm on the sideline watching this man do what he's doing. I need to jump into the game also. If I see this man working all the time and doing certain things, I need to adopt that at least. Like, at least adopt some consistent type of work ethic. You know, but me sitting around talking about the next man is not where it's at, you know?
And you know, it's funny how I talk about redefine success because the point when me I come with now, you know, it very much tied into redefining success in a fire because here I go on now. Most of the people them no overstand say it's all a mental game fire. It's really a mental game. And what I say happen is that a lot of people place limitations upon themselves. So they don't redefine success correctly now. And the limitation with them place upon themselves. So the person out there who them grudgeful of, them see the person there break the barrier of the limitation with them place. So the person that break the limit and now after all of a sudden, oh, me I try to work within this particular limit and him just come broke the limit. So that not fear. So it's this whole not fear business and thinking so there's a expectation, this expectation where the people them have of them. It's like them set them goals individually and place them limits individually, but collectively when time people are strive, it's supposed to still have to do with them. See, yeah.
All right. I hear what you're saying, and that's a brilliant statement, right? It's a brilliant statement. I hope you people listening clearly what the version said. You yourself supposedly is an individual, right? But all your goals is based on the collective. We can't say collective fire. We have to say the system. Because the system gives you, capitalistic system gives you a set of goals that leads you to constantly work, never have time for introspection or self-reflection, no time for family. Your self-worth and everything is based on income and purchases. So all these things lead to stimulating the economy because you're being a mindless consumer, but also internal conflict far right. There is no peace following that format. And we're not looking out against money, we're not looking out against purchases. That is not the point. But when that in a sense is the essence of your being, the essence of your joy, you're in problems. Because you can't never, you're always gonna be feed. It's a very hungry thing. You always have to feed it. You get this, you need that. This come out new, this person have that. That person it's just nonstop confusion. And all internally you're gonna be confused. Some of you listening right now have a room full of sneakers or full of whatever the thing that you wanted and you're depressed. So how is that the case? How is it that you have all the material things that you need or you wanted and yet you're conflicted inside? And I can speak on that. I've been there, fire. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like a person don't sit back and say, all right, then. It's like you're eating, but you're still hungry, like the gang said, in a different context, but we could use that metaphor here. The thing you trying to fill yourself with would not gonna fill you up.
You know, it's funny that you say that because watch I know, you know, say I give a live example. How accurate that is. What the when Kabaka released the album called The Calling, The Calling. Me like the album, you know, and send it go give a couple of people. Say, yo, listen to the album have a vibe. What do you think about it? Bam, bam, bam. You know, say somebody said to me, say, man, we not approve them boy them, man. We not make them thing them, man. Remember say Autarchii thing we say. So me I say like that not have nothing to do with me like with my success for you. Me I share an album with you and me like it stopped me from being a musician. It not stop me from being a musician. So it's like the people them not understand the way how the mind corrupt them for you. Like if me I share a joy with a youth I do a work and me like the body I work for you like that's how that stop Autarchii from going to the studio and go put in some nice work. It's more likely to motivate Autarchii and say, yes, so call the youth put in some work. And yeah man, I so want the work them I come in cause my thing I come to my album I come to. So it's like the people them mind is like some malfunction I go on, some rewiring need to get done for you because them feel like every time a man rise, one man alone can rise. Them not that are the thing.
All right, you know that's the next thing I was gonna say because one, what you said earlier in regards to perspective, right? So the perspective is off. Their perspective is that if a next man win, the next one can win, or a woman, vice versa. But what I learned is because this is what I had also and I had to overcome personally, right? And my wife, bless her heart still, because she have a saying that's very true. With their reasoning, while rise she was saying, why everybody got to be the best? Why you just can't be your best? Why is it a constant strive to be the best? So within the context you spoke of earlier, it's a thing that it's only supposed to be one person getting through and everybody else supposed to suffer. No one else supposed to have nothing good going on in their life. You supposed to be the only one. I think a lot of that has to do with oppression that we experience, specifically in this country. There are a lot of issues that go into that type of mind frame because I notice that's a cultural thing. I don't think that's a universal thing. In my experience, I may be wrong, but I think that's more a cultural thing. When you're oppressed, displaced people in a certain country, you may have that because everything is so bad. You want to win something, and when you want to win, it's almost like you want others to feel the suffering. Maybe that's what it is on a deep, weird psychological level. You want others to feel the suffering that you feel. So you don't want no one else to win. Maybe that's the case. I'm not sure. I'm not a psychologist. But the sister told me, my wife, she said, yo, what is this obsession with being the best? Because it's not really, you're never going to be the best. Never. Even if you're best for a second. You get what I'm saying? You're never going to be the absolute best, but you can be your best. You can be better than the next day. And it's healthy because this is the thing too, man, as you mentioned earlier. Every individual is unique and special. You can't compare people I can't compare myself to the next man. I cannot compare myself to you. There's so many different factors that go into your greatness and your brilliance and your uniqueness that has nothing. I can't compare with that. You're a totally different being with different traits and different aspects about you that have nothing to do with me. I can't compare that's the thing I hope people take away from this reason more than anything, right? If you are suffering, if you're a grateful person, hey, it is what it is. Maybe you won't change. But yo, it's unrealistic. It's irrational to compare yourself to another person. Because there's no accurate comparison. What are you comparing against? All right, that's like, I'm going to give you one example. I see it in the workplace, right? Both people work somewhere, right? Say they work somewhere for whatever, I don't know. They both work there for 3 years, right? They both make 80 grand. One person has a wife and kid and say a dependent sibling or a sick parent. The other has no children. Maybe their student loans are paid. You can't compare far right if one man drive up in a Mercedes. You can't compare. It's two different experiences. You cannot compare. You may have next thing. You may have a next person make the same money. One man got 30 grand on his credit card. One man don't have no debt. But the man with the 30 grand and the woman with the 30 grand on their credit card ever clean and this and that. How are you comparing them? The man don't want no debt, so you're not gonna purchase, you're not gonna spend money like this person, even though they make the same amount of money. And let's say for argument's sake, it's their only source of income. So they both just make that. There's so many different factors, mind frame, upbringing, opportunities, support systems, access to resources, education, discipline. There's so many different things that go into people's journey, mental health, people at different stages of their life. You may be at a stage in one life where you want pop bottles. Next stage there, you're in the house quiet. You get what I'm saying? You may have a certain addiction that you're struggling with. At this time, you feel better. And, you know, you may be in a bad relationship. Now you're in a good relationship. You were in a good relationship then. Now you're in a bad relationship. This kid's good. This kid giving you problems, right? This stressing you out. It's just so many different things. The point of the thing is that you cannot compare yourself to other people. Stop comparing yourself to it's unhealthy. Yeah, all right. Next thing we need to touch on real quick before we keep moving is this family thing, right? I think that and we probably should have mentioned it earlier. Your family's gonna be the most jealous people in your life, right? People tend, it's like watching TV. If you see an athlete who you don't have any direct contact with, you root for that person, you put them up on your wall, or a musician. But when people are close to you, kind of burn a little more. This Virgin Nas have a tune called Stay. I guess I have to paraphrase it, but he's basically saying how dudes are intimidated. They see their failures through a dude that's progressive in a sense, right? And I think that when people are close to you and they see you doing things, and when I say success, I don't mean it could be the most simplest of things. It could be the most simplest of things. You know, a lot of times that has nothing to do with money. A lot of times it's just like people just, I don't know, anything progressive, anything decent, you know, people tend to grudge that. I've seen firsthand where people grudge relationships. If you're in a stable relationship, that's an issue. You know, if you have any type of job security, that's an issue. If you have a relationship with your children, that's an issue. If you're a healthy person, that's the issue. They're always making comments. Now, God forbid, now you're really away from the pack and doing stuff. Any progressive person knows, I'm pretty sure they know how to deal with it now, but any progressive person knows that jealousy thing is on the heights, and you just know how to do it and keep it moving. But don't be shocked that when you're trying to change and prove yourself, that the majority of hate people would say will come from people closest to you. People can't process it. They don't know what to do. And I think a lot of times they're offended because it's like, we come from the same place, so how is this you're able to do that, right? And it's just like fire, different strokes for different folks, you know? There's a lot we could say about it, but I just want to let the people know, don't be shocked. Do not be shocked. Don't be, ain't no nothing to cry about. It's not poor me. It's not nothing as far as part of this how the thing go. When you're doing anything, please expect and prepare mentally, spiritually, emotionally for those closest to you. You'll get a lot of shockers too. You think people was there for you, but as things get better for you, fire just makes them angry, right? And then depending on what circle you around, you may want to distance yourself because they may want to put a hole in your head too, yo. Because enough of the killings out there because of jealousy, fire. Straight jealousy, a man come take your life, you know. So don't be shocked that those around you are the ones that kind of grudge you the most.
Yeah. Everything where they say a straight accuracy now, I can tell that so we are living testament enough of them things that were there. Because you know what? You know the reason why and a whole heap of people were closer to you tend to have a more type of grudge and jealousy for you because your success according to them logic, it show up them weakness. And so because it show up so much of them weakness, it's like them as a basically weak. But me and him get the same type of upbringing. Me and him come from the same type of place. And if him successful and me not successful, then it gonna look like say me are the problem. I remember again we always talk about this accountability thing. So it's like nobody know have to take accountability for being a failure, you know. You see me I say? So this now the whole that's why I say the bitterness. So harsher when time it come from your family member them and times your success. I really that I take place in a fire. And the thing where me feel I don't feel it's a solution, but I think it's the first step towards the people them coming out of bitterness and this jealousy vibes, right? and them they learn to be happy for others. I think we need to emphasize healthy competition. You see what I say? We need to emphasize healthy competition, because you see, if we think about healthy competition from the youth them younger, then we overstand say, yes, one can compete. There's nothing wrong with competing, even outside of sports. Even though I know the logic when I normally say is that you only compete in a sports, but say take sports out of the picture. Healthy competition is something we need to emphasize, because one, it will show the youth them say everybody have for them destination where them are reach for them own. Seeing, and then it will make them know, see how you must encourage other people. Because we encourage other people, it build your own self-esteem. You know how great it is to know, say, a man over there, so, and him just get all 100 million, and him have everything look like it nice, see, man. You're so happy if you see him, and you're so joyful in your heart when you see me. Yo, me I see as a youth, yo, me see I come from the dirt, you know. And I see things start happening for you, and you feel so nice. You know how good that make you feel like yourself? You know how great if you're a person with a good heart. Let me make sure you say that, because you know I make it sound like say everybody, because the average person what me know or what me see, them not have the type of joy they fire. I'm realizing like me can see it in my own life. So yo, anytime I see people rise up and have them type of joy, and somebody share some news with me where I think I got better themselves, I feel so great inside for know say, yo, the person that actually stick it through. Because consistency is one thing we're missing from society, you know. So the fact that somebody actually consistent on something and carry it through and see the end result for you know how joyful that is. But then, and that might even, because of consistency is so important, it might even be the point where it will lead to more jealousy in this modern day, because the average person is not consistent. So it show them off.
All right, two things, right? In order for that thing to work, that will work with people that, because it's just like people who do stuff are more appreciative of other people doing stuff because they really understand the struggle, right? But the fact that people aren't doing stuff, they figure that you got lucky, or, you know, something happened and this and that type of vibe. So that one kind of for them is the fact that they haven't experienced it, so they can't really understand that joy. I wanted to go back to what you said earlier in regards to the benefits of being happy, right? It's equivalent to forgiving somebody. I'm not forgiving you for you. I'm forgiving you for myself. I had to let it go to keep it moving. And like, it's like you're almost doing the same damage to yourself when you're being jealous, in the sense that like you're holding on to this negative energy fire, right? And not only, as I said, now if you're a person that's into talking about people, to waste of time, but also it's just like, bro, we gotta let go of the bad vibes. Yeah, I'm just I try to keep it real with you. I'm just trying to, like, you know, I don't, in my life experience, I learned like the more I keep, and I'm not talking about delusional positivity. I ain't talking about no toxic positivity. I'm talking about in regards to like just what I have control over, where I can minimize unnecessary negative energy. I make sure that I do. But like being happy for people has been so liberating for me. Now I can't say, oh, my life is dope because I'm happy for people. I'm not gonna go to that extent, right? But I don't have the stresses and internal issues from being jealous of somebody. And more than anything, I don't have to waste of time. I think my approach towards seeing other people is very good, analyzing, adapting, and applying, right? I'm always taking traits from people. I really am. I'm always observing and taking traits from people. And I think that will help you long term compared to having a vibe for people if they're doing certain things. You being turned off and have an attitude and all this, and it's just like that person's still gonna do what they're doing. They're not paying no money. So don't think for a second, unless it's some little kids or something, that your jealousy is deterring this person, because you're not the only person jealous of that person. If you're jealous of that person, I'm pretty sure there are numerous people who are jealous of that person because they're doing something to attract the jealousy. So you're not deterring that person. So they're not thinking about you, they're not paying you no mind, right? What you need to do is see, not saying you can replicate what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure that practices that leads to them being a success in a specific thing. Most basic thing is probably consistency. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they have some level of discipline in their life that's leading to them to be successful in a particular craft. So if you are grudging them, maybe you can increase your discipline and behaviors that would lead to that would benefit you in the long term. Maybe there's certain habits you got to kind of reflect on and take out. There's something that person's doing that you can adopt that can make you better. Or there's some characteristic that person has that you can adopt to make you better. That is a healthy approach. in regards to that healthy competition, I don't think people understand. Hey, we're playing sports. Dude, try to dunk on me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate you get what I'm saying. Like, yo, you tough. It's okay to say people are good. It's okay to say, yo, what you did is dope. It's not a like. I do the video thing, right? I watch a bunch of these YouTube channels out here, right? A lot of them are dope. Bar, have you ever heard me publicly first of all, even privately, really sit down and criticize? No, yeah. And we do refer to the channel, we say, yo, such and such a dope boy.
Yeah, it's a bless
Listen,
up.
man. But nobody not sitting here grudging nobody or interacting because we have a toxic thing with that culture too, and people like to see it with people arguing and degrading and other things and all that. Listen, I watch Nightly Fix, right? Respect the Nightly Fix. Even though, and I want to be clear, a lot of times their thing don't align with my thing, which is the truth. But I still watch it because in between they have stuff I can support. Teach them. You have the next bridging sometimes if I want to go crime watch, crime something. The bridging they just talk. All right, the bridge
Politics what?
politics watch. Like
Yeah.
making things. There are a bunch of other stuff I watch. So it's like, my bridging near Eureka Hills. The
Yes, sir.
It's such a thing. A funny word. But yeah, but it's just like for what they doing is not taking away from anything that I'm doing. That's what I mean to say. You get what I'm saying? What they're doing don't have nothing to do with what I'm doing.
But I know something very important with the I say. The I say one word and from the reason it stuck on my mind. Characteristic. It is a very important thing in the conversation of fire. Because like I feel like we just need to set the record straight to people. Fire, like if you don't have the winner characteristic, you're gonna be a loser. Like it very simply. You're going to be a loser. We're filled with jealousy. And you're always unhappy when things see people are strive because you don't have the characteristic there. You know, the characteristics will build a man who's successful, always going at it. Anytime you lose, or when time you see something don't work the right way, you continue, you strive, you continue hitting at it because you say, you know, some must reach a point here. So you, it's like the most times when people are unhappy when time them see you strive in a fight, them don't know the work where you put in behind the scenes in a fight. Like, how much interview there I would have to try reach up a man to set up? How much time all a youth like all me have to walk, how much blocks for get out of the studio, to get out of vice a studio, and when time reach a studio, producer still I tell we say, oh, yeah man, go on wait man, go on what we have to do there, and burn all 2 spliff, and by the time burn all 2 spliff are easy, 3 hour pass, man no show up, cause you say man no really respect your thing and tell them to you see a thing and move. And we still have to hold it and I tell ourselves, so, yo, you know, say, we have to go get them things. So when time you go through a certain battles, and you start rise up now and a man go grudge a thing, me I tell you say it's sad. Because it's sad for you.
Far is unrealistic, but it goes back to what I said. That's why you can't. I think you should expect because the jealousy, us talking this out, the jealousy.
No, I mean expect it, you know. But just I say it's sad, you know.
But the jealousy, and I want to be clear. I'm not saying successful people aren't grudgeful either, right? I want to be clear because there is a jealousy amongst that, but like amongst the general population, yeah, jealousy heavy and very toxic. And like I think the main, as you just mentioned, fire, it's always an excuse like, yo, you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? Or there's something there that they have. I don't have it like that. Or all these little comments that just take away from the fact that you were consistent and you worked hard. I don't know what else to say. Yes, there's a level of luck in there, but we can't take out of the equation the consistency and the hard work and the dedication. Any person that has anything going for them, unless it's some crazy viral video that'll go into obscurity in 2 days, they have put a lot of hours. It takes a lot. Far right, even for the little podcast, how much time it take for this? We got to record the podcast. We got to put it all together. We got to put it out everywhere. This is on a weekly thing. How much things do you do in your life consistently? And if the answer is not a lot, I don't think you should be grudging anybody. I think you should be focusing on getting more consistency in your life.
Them consistently I grudge people.
Here we go. There we go. That's the consistent thing, right? We got to change up what we're consistent in. But I like this reasoning still, but I can say as a recovering person that did experience jealousy, it's very liberating to be happy for others. You'll feel better. And I think when you see people who are quote unquote doing better than you or whatever, regardless, even if you think it's unfair, see what they do good at. Ask yourself, am I able to do it on this level? If not, I need to improve, and also look at other behaviors that they have that lead to them doing good.
Yeah,
You
and just
know,
look for yourself too, fire, because if you are an ambitious individual, fire, what is your individual goal? How you stick towards your goal, regardless of why. You have to draw inspiration from different places. So might as well if somebody in the same field feel like you are somebody do something or you're watching somebody on a TV, try take a characteristics where you can draw towards your success. And I feel like them type of things that you building up on yourself, self-development, it gonna help you to let go the whole grudgeful mindset and just happy for other people generally, you know?
and there's another aspect of the reason we don't have time to touch about, but in regards to nepotism, I think people don't understand racism in corporate America, right? I think they have these aspirations that, and I'm not trying to knock anyone's goals, right? But like, if you find yourself like really putting in work and not making any form of progression, you have to analyze the environment, analyze the politics where you are, and you may just have to go on your own. We have to understand like there is a limitation in regards to what you could do in these corporate companies as a black person, as a minority. I just have to throw that in there for all right. I know somebody gonna say, well, what about this and that? And it's just understand that like there's a level of nepotism. People gonna put on their people before they put you. That doesn't take away from your greatness or your ability. You just have to understand, like, bro, why would they put you in a position when they got their friend or their cousin? It's just not a realistic thing. That's like if I owned the thing, like, why would I put a random person in there when I have my people to take care of? So I just had to put that in there for all right. We give thanks for everyone listening from those times to now. Hopefully you enjoyed the reason. Do make sure you check out the story of Jamaica's most famous shirt, the Mesh Marina, part of I Never Knew TV short film series. Make sure you check out music from the one Autarchii, aka The Dread Disrupting the Status Quo description. The link that is in the description. Also this week we do have Everton Blender on I Never Knew TV. So maybe check out the breaks in there, Iries, and respect to the one Joey Clay who did that for me in Florida. So I think that's all the announcements. So till next time.